What's up, strokers? It's your boy Jake Z-Man here, aka BrusHstroKeZ, and today we're going to show you how to change the packing needle on the LPH-80. So I've had this gun for a while. I bought it used from pawn shop. It's the first spray gun I ever bought, and it's just worn out. I tried to change the packing. I've changed it once before, and then this time I didn't have a spare, so I actually tried using an old one, and it leaked a lot more. So typically you don't have to take this handle off, just the air cap and then the nozzle and the needle. You can leave that on there. I took it off because it was leaking bad, and if I can get it to focus, right up in there I got some paint so that I can't really get off. So we'll get this apart. We'll show you this first step. My gun actually came with a wrench. Well, not this one, but I have 3 of these now. So this is a wrench that came with one of my new ones. I think it's probably about like a 5mm if I had to guess. So we want to take this out first thing. I'll just show you actually what we're working with. So this is the packing replacement. And it's 3 pieces. It comes with this metal piece here, a little plastic white piece there, and then this piece here, this little leather seal. It's black on one side and like a reddish maroon color on the other side. So that's very important. We got to put that in a certain way. This white piece as well. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it actually is flat on one end and it is a little bit cone shaped on the other. So, but we'll want to go ahead and just get this packing needle off. So we'll just loosen it till it's finger loose. And as you can see, there's a lot of paint on there, so it's been leaking pretty bad. And we'll go ahead and get the packing seals out of here. So I actually tried a couple different things. I have 2 seals in there now. I was trying to get this to work since I didn't have a new packing seal to replace it, but I just want to take something. This is for adjusting the packing screws on airbrushes, or you can use like the back of an airbrush needle. You don't want to use something sharp. Well, taking it out's not that big of a deal, but putting the new one in, we'll want to help guide it in a little bit. Oh, there they went. There are the 2. I had 2 of those leather ones in there, and then you can still kind of see that white one in there. You can usually just turn it over and that should fall right out. Let's see if I can get this to focus. But you can see, maybe you can't. One side is flat, and one side's kind of rounded. So I'm gonna actually go clean my gun right now. There's a bunch of paint in there, and then kind of all up in there. And I'm gonna clean this little piston out too. So I'm gonna go clean that, and I'll be right back and show you how we put this back together. All right, so we've got this all cleaned up. This little plunger piece, it's just kind of a floating piece. It does have to go into that little packing needle area to get it in. And our handle. Handle, you can always just leave that one clip on there. That way you only got one clip to put on. These are kind of a pain. I've just been using a screwdriver, a little mini screwdriver. And I just kind of put my fingers on both sides to keep it down, get it lined up in the slot, and then just give it a good push. It'll snap in there. And just give it a turn, make sure it's on there nice and good. Alright, so we got our pieces here. Alright, so the first piece that's going to go in is the plastic piece. Now you can see there's one flat side, and then this side is kind of domed. The dome side goes to the front of the gun, and the flat side we want to the back of the gun. So this is a little bit finicky. Once you get it down in there, kind of have to push it around a little bit. Oops. So we got it in there. Now this is an important part here, is this seal. The red needs to go to the back of the gun, and the black to the front. This one's a little more tricky. Just kind of got to get it slid in there. It is important though. See, it flipped on me to get the red side up. Now, you don't want to use a sharp needle or anything to do this. You can use like the back side of an airbrush, but just want to kind of get in there and flip it around. You might actually have to take it out. That'll probably be easier. Maybe. There we go, finally fell out. So, we'll try this again. Finally got it after some finagling. Let's see it down in there. You want to make sure this is flush, you know, and it's not crooked or anything, because next we'll be putting this in there. And that's why we want it flat. The flat sides on this side and the red side this way. We're going to put this in just with our fingers. Notice we're holding the trigger back too to give ourselves some room for this. I have to hold this a little different to get my hand in there. Come on. Hands are a little too big for this mini gun, but I love it too much. So before we tighten it down, I just felt it snug a little bit. What I like to do is look through that. See how we can see through that? That means both the seals have lined up correctly. So we can go ahead and finish getting that finger tight here. And then with the wrench, I always just give it just like a quarter turn. Oops, missed it, but I gave it about a quarter of a turn. Then we'll want our needle, which I don't have with me, so I will be right back. Alright, so I got my needle here. Go ahead and get it lined up. Now before I push it through, I just want to make sure that's not super hard to push. And maybe that quarter of a turn was too much, so I'll back it out of here. It's feeling kind of tight, but there we go. Okay, it is a little hard to push through, so maybe that's typical. So it was just over finger tight. So there we go, we got our packing seal changed. Alright, we'll go get this put back together, put it to the test. Alright, so I got it all cleaned up, back together. So we'll go ahead and get this hooked up. And to test this, we'll just put some water, or this is just airbrush cleaner, my homemade concoction, or you can put thinner in there. You just want to use something really thin, because the thin stuff will actually really leak. So we'll go ahead and spray. We'll want to watch for right in here for any water. So far, so good. See if we can't get you zoomed in here. So, no water. Nice and dry, and our packing is nice and tight. So if you did get some water leaking right there, just go ahead and put, just a little bit of a turn on that nut. Just tighten it up a little bit, and then try again with the water or your thinner. And if it's still leaking, you just want to slightly turn that nut until it's tight enough that it's not leaking. But we are good to go. I'm all set and ready to start spraying again. Till the next time, keep those brushes stroking.